Hey everybody, welcome to the Bark Knight Podcast. I am your host Patrick.
And I'm Dan.
So today we're talking about Final Destination Bloodlines. We're doing a little bit of news, talking a little bit of physical media, and then we're going to wrap up. So before we get into everything, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed wherever you're watching or listening to this and throw a like or a review or whatever little thing that it has to offer, because it really makes a difference for us.
Yeah, share it around.
Here we go. So, how's everything going?
Good, man. Yourself?
I'm doing well. So, Sarah came in and said the funniest thing to me right before we started this episode.
Fantastic.
I was sitting here, and she's like, I just realized people use ranch as salad dressing? That's fucking disgusting. And
she's right. She's right.
Just dying.
It's one of those things you don't really think about, but yeah, they do.
Yeah. And I did really well with her because she's, fully ingrained in the Buffalo culture, and, it's blue cheese over ranch all day. So she's a big fan of blue cheese. I don't think she'd still put it on a salad ever.
Blue cheese?
Yeah.
My dad does.
It seems like wild behavior, but...
My dad does.
At that point, why are you even eating a salad, right? Just eat a piece of pizza.
You got me, dude.
All right. Well, anyways, yeah, let's get into it. Final Destination Bloodlines.
Right. The sixth in the franchise.
The sixth in the franchise. So, for anybody that's new to this, we're going to go over a couple different things behind the movie, and then we'll get into some spoilery stuff later in it. Mm-hmm. But you'll get a full background on the movie and our general thoughts on it as we go through without the movie getting spoiled for you. And honestly, there's not many real spoilers for this movie because it's very much exactly what you expect it's going to be.
Right.
If you've seen the other movies, you know what you're getting with this. It doesn't break the mold in too many ways like that, It
doesn't. It takes the mold, says, this works, and goes about it.
Yeah, we'll do our thing with it a little bit, but it's got its own flavor, but it's still the same recipe we're used to.
Right. This is to say that the last one came out 2011, so 14 years has passed since we've had one of these movies, which at one time seemed like an insane notion to me. But then also when I started thinking about it, they kind of threw out like 4 or 5 real quick towards the end of the 2010s, and then just kind of let it be.
Yeah, which was probably a good thing, to be honest. I think they were kind of running out of steam about what to do with these by that point.
I think they were trying to keep up with the Saw brand, and Saw just didn't stop. Saw got up to 10, 11 they're at now.
I think they're at 11.
And they were trying to keep up with that, and then they just said this premise isn't going to support it. So they let it rest for a while, which good on them to let people just kind of remember, the enjoyable horror movies that they were before we got a new one.
Yeah, exactly. So for anybody that doesn't know, Final Destination franchise, the whole premise with this is that you have the movie starts off with a premonition of
a disaster.
Yeah, massive disaster that happens, and somebody prevents said disaster, and Death comes back to try to finish the job on all the survivors.
Mm-hmm.
I actually explained that to Sarah when we saw this last night, because she did watch the first one with me years and years ago, but she'd never watched any of the other ones. I've tried to get her to watch number 2 many times, but she wouldn't. 2. And I think after watching this, she probably will go back and watch number 2.
Right. 2's good. Yeah, good. It's a franchise I really liked as a kid. 1, 2, and 3 were kind of the ones I really championed. 4 is universally kind of disliked by most people, including the fans of this franchise. And then 5 was kind of a return to form, but it was a bit, I don't know what's the word here, just kind of, we were all over it at that point. We're like, that was good, I'm good, kind of. Does that make sense?
Was Final Destination 5, was that the Final Destination?
No, 4 was the Final Destination. 4 is the ass one.
Okay, so which one is 5?
5's the one with the bridge.
Okay. What's it
so
called?
That's the easiest way. It's just called Final Destination 5, I think.
Okay.
I think it's got the number in it. Whereas the one before said 1, 2, 3, the Final Destination, stupid. And then Final Destination 5, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. But I will Google it right now.
The first one is a plane crash. The second one is the massive car pileup.
Right.
The third one, is that a roller coaster?
That's a roller coaster.
Okay. And the fourth one
was NASCAR race. Not a NASCAR race, a race car event.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't really remember 4 and 5 very well. I
Four's
haven't
bad.
watched them since they came out.
Four's real bad. Yeah, it's just Final Destination 5 for the fifth one. So they went the Final Destination, Final Destination 5, Final Destination Bloodlines.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the whole thing with this. And the hook of this one is that there is a hotel restaurant type thing. It might actually just be a restaurant.
A Space
But
Needle type deal.
yeah, it opens up and basically collapses.
Immediately, yeah.
Yeah. And so as soon as I got an eye on it, I was like, this seems very much like the Landmark Hotel and Casino, which you'll remember as the Galaxy Hotel from Mars Attacks. You remember that?
Oh, yeah, I do. I love Mars Attacks. I almost bought it the other day, actually.
Yeah. And it was a really cool fact about that is that when you see that get destroyed in Mars Attacks, that's really that hotel getting destroyed.
Right.
That hotel opened in the 60s, same era where this is taking place. So I think they were really taking a lot of inspiration there. I haven't read that, but I have to imagine it.
It would check out.
Like it.
Yeah.
It's from the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so like 30 years, it just couldn't keep up with the other hotels. So eventually they wanted to turn it into a parking lot or something, and they demolished it. So Tim Burton filmed them demolishing it so he could include it in his movie.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Such a Tim Burton thing, too.
Yeah. And it's really cool to see in the movie. So, yeah. But yeah, reviews for the movie. So on IMDb, we got 7.1 out of 10. Metacritic, 74 out of 100, obviously. Rotten Tomatoes, we got critics at 89 and audiences at 93. Or was that, did I mix that around?
I think you got it backwards, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I think, critics are 93, audience are 89.
Yeah, I must have just been typing with out my brain.
That happens.
Cinemascore B+.
Right.
And on Threads, we are overall pretty positive. I've seen from everybody. You know, everybody seems to be saying that the kills are good and the movie's a lot of fun.
Right.
So
that Metacritic is 74. I don't understand Metacritic. That seems like a good rate for them.
Yeah, I don't know how to make any sense of Metacritic at this point.
Yeah, but yeah. So the movie came out. It seems like it's doing well with critics and fans. It seems like, which is good because we were both very much worried about this movie, just all the way down the line. Kind of like watching like the trailer, the first trailer there. I'm like, that looks like ass. The tagline being Bloodlines, whereas we know in horror movie pantheon, never adding Bloodlines to a movie is good. So they're trying to break that trend.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, overall, everybody seems to like it. Sarah saw it. She went with me, and it was against your advice. Because,
it was, yes.
So for the audience, I asked Dan, I was like, you think Sarah's going to like this? He's like, it is super gory, and yeah, I doubt she will. And we were going to that cinema cafe where they have, you're basically, you eat like a restaurant there. So she was like, I still feel like going because I want their pizza.
Right, good.
And she actually had an absolute blast with it.
Good.
Like, I think that there were some parts of it that she really didn't enjoy, like when the ring like peels the finger and, you know, some of the things like that were a little gruesome for her. She didn't like. But in the opening, there is one death specifically that you're actually hoping for the entire time. And when it happens, she was like cackling like an evil person. She was like, yes, yeah.
As she was supposed to be.
Yeah.
As she was supposed to be. That character, I know exactly who you're talking about. That character was designed that way. Absolutely schmarmy little shit. And that's what they were going for.
Yeah. And she was cheering when that was happening. And then there was actually a handful of scenes where she was like laughing along with the kills.
Yeah.
And so I think that the benefit of all that was, we talked about it afterwards, was that all of the kills are super over the top. And the blood doesn't even look like blood.
No.
You know, she said that the blood looked like jelly. Like everything looked so over the top.
Melted Kool-Aid.
That it was hard to take it seriously.
Not melted Kool-Aid, sorry. Melted Jello is what I meant to say there, not melted Kool-Aid.
Melted Kool-Aid.
Like,
whatever you say, Dan.
Yes. But yeah, so she enjoyed it. That's good. Holly and I went and saw it as well. Holly had not seen any of them. I let her know what the basic premise was. I let her know it's going to be violent, it's going to be gory, it's going to be people killed in weird ways. She was all about it, and she had a good time with it too. She enjoyed the comedy, as you put in there. Like they add enough comedy to it to make the gruesome crap you're watching not really have the same impact as like Smile or something like that. Where you see something gruesome and it's done to just make you freak out.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of what everybody thinks is that everything is done in a really fun way. So you're just really just having a good time with it. For the budget for this, we got $50 million.
Is that I couldn't find anything on that.
Yeah, I Googled it, and that's what people are reporting, but it's not listed on IMDb, so take it with a grain of salt. But if that is accurate, then they made their budget back
already
this weekend, just from U.S. and Canada, because they brought in $51 million. Mm-hmm. Worldwide, $102 million. So people were craving this; they were digging it.
Mm-hmm. It's a perfect mix because, like I said, 14 years since the last one. People who grew up with the movies are now old enough to have, people around teenage years that they can see, this little spectacle of violence and gore and death.
Yeah, exactly. Where does this stack up for you in the franchise?
I thought about that, and I think, as I told you, I was kind of precious to 1, 2, and 3 for a while. I think this one goes probably it goes in the top 3. I think it bumps out number 3 for me, which I think I might be alone in really liking number 3, maybe because I just really liked Mary Elizabeth Winstead on that, or whatever her last name is.
Blanking on it. She might be doing some heavy lifting on that.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, that's okay. So it's at least bronze medal for me. It might be silver medal even. I might put it right behind the first one, I think. So I think I might put it 2 in the second position right now, and 3 just behind it, or sorry, 2 just behind it.
Okay.
How about you?
I would put it in 3.
3?
In third
and
place.
You go 1, 2, 3. I mean 1, 2 Bloodlines probably.
I'm gonna be honest. I was thinking about this. I've watched Final Destination 1 and 2 recently, and I think I like the second one better.
All right, that's fair.
I think the second one's my favorite, and it's just because they take everything that's done well with the first one and just make it that much better. And I mean, a big part of enjoying these is that initial big disaster that happens, and the 50 car pileup is miles ahead of the plane crash.
Well, without question. It's not even a comparison, yeah.
I mean, cast-wise, you don't have Devon Sawa, and that's unfortunate. But, I mean, everybody else that's there does really well, and the kills are awesome. The sheriff dude is cool.
Yeah, he's cool. I really haven't seen that actor do much since then, but I liked him. The actress, AJ Cook, was the main actress in that one. I guess she's on Criminal Minds or one of those type of shows, and apparently she's really good at that. I've never seen it. I don't think I've seen her in anything outside of this.
I have seen a whole lot of Criminal Minds. I watched like 5 seasons or something of it.
Somehow I missed that. Like everyone says that. Everyone's like, I watched that show. I'm like, I don't even remember that show. Like, was it on Fox? I don't know.
It's got Joe Mantegna in it.
Oh, I do like him. He's great.
Yeah, and at least for the first couple seasons, it's got Inigo Montoya dude there.
Oh, nice.
Can't think of his name.
Can't either, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but solid. But yeah, so I think, I mean, yes, Final Destination 1 is probably the better movie, but
enjoyment.
Final Destination 2, like, I watch that pretty frequently. I watch it more often than I rewatch the first one. I'll put it that way.
You brought it up. That highway accident in that second movie, is one of the best stunt sequences in any movie.
It is so good that it's referenced in this one. It is so good that they used it in the marketing for this one.
Yeah. It's so good. There's memes on my phone. I could probably pull up one right now about people not driving behind a log truck for the last 20 years.
Yeah, 100%. There was even people were showing pictures of they had semis, and the graphics on the side and the back of it were the logs, and under it it said Final Destination Bloodlines coming out May whatever. Did
they really?
Yeah, they were doing that.
So yeah, that is an iconic scene then. Like they know it. We all know it. So yeah, that's hilarious. That's good marketing.
It's great marketing. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Final Destination 2, and I just watched it when we did our 2003 episode. So
I watched it this weekend.
Yeah, it's awesome, right?
It's really good. I'm not crapping on it by putting it in third place, but I don't know. Just the characters aren't as good as the first one for me. That's kind of my deciding factor there. The freeway accident though is the best thing this franchise has done, bar none, hands down.
Well, they do have great characters in the first one because you got Sean William Scott. Devin
Kerr
Sawa.
Smith.
Who? Oh yeah,
Kerr
yeah,
Smith being the dick. Yeah. He plays a good dick in that role.
Yeah.
That was a bad statement, but it's fine.
But I think that the kills are probably what does it for me, because the kills are much better. Like all of the kills in the second one, you know, like the one even with like the water bottle when it goes under the brake pedal.
Oh yeah.
I literally tell Sarah all the time, like, no, don't leave your water bottle there. I was like, see, this is why you got to watch Final Destination 2. Like, you're following too close behind semis. You got water bottles haphazardly through the car. Like,
you got to learn. So yeah, I'll give you that. The second one had better kills, quicker pace to it. It just hit, go, go, go. The characters are weaker than the first one, I'd say.
yeah.
But I mean, that's the trade-off there. Like, if you want just kind of like a McDonald's burger movie, whereas like Final Destination 1 was like Arby's.
I hate Arby's.
All right, okay. Well, I know we. Oh my God, Arby's. Yeah. Sorry, jeez. Our experience at Arby's have not been good, people. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah. I think that every one of these after the first one suffers from weak characters because they're trying to keep the budgets down, and I mean those characters in that one, like Ali Larter, Sean William Scott, they weren't even big actors yet. You know, they were just on the cusp of becoming like household names, but they weren't.
Good casting. They saw the talent there and cast it. And you make a point. I was going to bring it up eventually too. As the movies go along, like 3, 4, 5. Well, especially 4 is the bottom out point. 4, they just completely like. There's like legit not a character you can like in that movie. They all are the worst. You just want them dead immediately. Like, can I just fast forward to when these people get smushed by a train or something? You know?
Well, yeah, that's the thing, is like you don't remember anything about it. Like, I didn't remember anything about that movie.
And then 3, as we've talked about, has my girl Mary Elizabeth in it, and so that gets a special bump up for me on that. And then the 5th one, it doesn't do anything special to separate it from 4, but the characters are just more likable. So it helps out in that sense.
Yeah. So I think that is a good place to jump into the characters of this one. So first off, I'll talk about Brec Bassinger, who is the 1960s Iris. She, to me, is the best character and actor in this movie. And my only dig against this movie is that we didn't spend enough time with that character. I think it'd be a stronger a stronger movie if she carried the whole thing. And we spent the whole thing in the 60s, right? Or maybe spend it in going decade by decade with that character, where it is, you know, her figuring out everything that's happening and trying to save everybody throughout history as all this happens. Like, man, would that have been awesome? And
even
as soon as they cut away from her, I'm like, oh, that's so disappointing.
Yeah, even like her learning about the other people who she saves from that explosion space needle thing from the beginning of the movie, like her learning about those and kind of like researching them, and then we can get like flashbacks to the kills and stuff. That could have been a really fun movie. Well, not saying this one wasn't fun. I'm not saying that, but like, you kind of want to see it because I'm with you. The Brec Bassinger, she is great in the role, and you want to see more of her. And then, like, was it like a third of the way? No, it's not even that much, is it?
When she leaves?
Yeah.
It's like 20 minutes.
So, yeah, not much.
Into it. You don't even get the scene of her going in and saving everybody.
They do.
Which was, I guess they kind of flash back to it later.
Yeah, so, now that'd be a spoiler kind of, I guess. I don't want to go too far into it. But you get the scene of her going in there and doing what needs to be done so stuff doesn't happen.
Yeah, but you don't get it till later. It flashes away from that.
Yes, you're right.
And that's like the beginning of the movie. And then all of a sudden you're caught up to the granddaughter. Yeah. And then eventually it connects the dots back to that. But when they go back to it, they kind of rush through it too. Mm-hmm. It's like 30 seconds, you know.
You're right. I had misremembered it. My brain just put it together.
Yeah. So that was probably my main dig at this, is like you guys probably wasted some really cool story and aesthetic by jumping right from the 1960s to the 2020s.
Yeah.
You know, because the aesthetics that they establish and the characters right there could have been really cool. You care about them, you know, they spend so much time character building in that initial one with the woman and her husband that the moment they cut away from that, you're like, man, I wish we still had them.
And then they're just like, here's the rest of the family.
Yeah. And none of the rest of the family is very strong.
No, maybe the one cousin there with the nose ring. I like him, but he's not like a movie savior or anything. He's just a good ancillary character.
Yeah. I think the characters are definitely stronger than they were in the last couple, but like, yeah, they're not like they're horror movie characters, right?
They don't make the movie.
Like as one thing I realized is that at the end of the movie, I didn't really remember any of the characters' names, right?
I couldn't remember the main girl's name, the main, like the final girl, the one we're supposed to care about. Could not. You could put a gun to my head after I walked out of that movie theater.
I remember Iris. That is the only character name I remembered.
And Bobby, because Bobby, just for whatever reason, every time I hear Bobby, sticks in my head. Because of the fan.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Bobby!
And one thing about Iris, too. Brec Bassinger, she was Stargirl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
I didn't know that. I didn't
Never watched
Stargirl. Not a lot of people did, apparently. It got canceled, I think, after 1 or 2 seasons.
It was like that weird thing. Like, it was on, like, the CW, and then they transitioned to a different, like, platform, and then, I don't know. It's like...
I think it started on DC Universe or something.
Or is that what it did? Okay.
And then joined, I think it joined the CW. And I think it started on, like, DC or something.
They had all those shows, like The Flash and Green Arrow, and I think there was a Batgirl maybe too. Like, there was a lot of CW shows that were admittedly, apparently, I watched some of The Flash, and The Flash was enjoyable for the first few seasons, but there at a certain point you're just like, how many seasons of this is there?
Yeah.
And then they're like, also Stargirl. I'm like, I'm not gonna get involved now.
Right. Yeah. So she was the star of that, and seeing her in this, I'm like, you know what? She's probably got a pretty bright future ahead of her.
Yeah. So
that was my main complaint, though. More of her.
Yeah. Did you the last name Basinger? Is she related to
Kim Basinger? Nope. No. Different spelling. One S. Well. For Kim, that is.
Yes. Okay.
So the other character there, Stephanie Reyes, she's played by Caitlin Santajuana, and
what was her name?
Largely Caitlin Santajuana.
No. In the movie.
Oh, Stephanie Reyes.
That's my sister's name. If I can't remember my sister's name.
Oh, like, your sister's name is Stephanie Reyes?
Oh, not the Reyes part.
Yeah, she's largely not been in much that I could track. She was in 2 episodes of The Flash. That's about it. The rest of the cast, mainly not really in anything I could recognize. Anna Lore, the cousin named Julia, and that's how you got to do this. Like, you got to be like, the cousin that was this, and the cousin that was that. The tattooed cousin, you know.
Yep.
She was in 2 episodes of Doom Patrol, and she was in Gotham Knights. Richard Harmon, who's Eric, the tattooed cousin, he was Captain Boomerang in The Flash. So I figured I'd go over those things.
Yeah, look at that.
All 4 of those actors have been in like these DC shows. So that was interesting.
The CW DC universe.
I expected when I looked at the directors that they might have some background in DC to be picking these actors, but they did not. They've largely not done very much I had heard of either. They did a Fraggle Rock TV series. They did Kim Possible TV movie.
Fraggle Rock?
Yeah, a bunch of... They did a Dead Rising thing, like... I don't know, a whole bunch of stuff that I hadn't heard anything about. They did Leprechaun Origins.
That's bad.
I didn't watch that. You watched that?
That's bad. It's really bad.
Well, they've come a long way since then. So it's 2 guys, Zach Lipovsky and Adam B. Stein. So, where there is some star power behind this, though, is in the writers category. So that's a lot of help. So one of the writers is Guy Busick, who you will know is the writer of Ready or Not, which is interesting because you can totally see that. And I wonder if he put in the script and then have this person explode and red goo go everywhere. Ready
not enough of that. Enough of the red goo, man. Yeah, the red mist.
So he did Ready or Not and Abigail and Castle Rock and both of the recent Scream movies. He wrote all of those.
That's where the movie gets its strength from. Then I think he does a real good job giving you a good script for them to go off of. Because, like you said, there's not really any star power in this movie.
No star power. Yeah, it's all in the writing and the execution of the kills.
Right.
And, you know, that might be where it comes in. Like, hey, these are really well-crafted kills. Just shoot it right.
Right.
One of the other writers is Laurie Evans Taylor, who's not done anything I'd heard of. A third writer on the movie is none other than Jon Watts.
Really?
Yep, who we both know as the writer and director of the Spider-Man movies, Skeleton Crew, Wolves, Cop Car, and Clown.
Huh. So they must have just brought him in to freshen up the script, I assume, if he's a third writer on it.
Yeah, so it has him down as story. So he came up with the story, and the other two did the screenplay.
Okay.
It actually, all three of them are on story, so they must have had a little bit of a writer's room on it, I assume, where they hashed out the details together. So
That'd be fun. I'd like to do. That'd be fun to do like a writer's room, like just like even like an exercise just to see how it goes once. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I think.
Hey, we could do a writer's room here.
Now let's try it. And then an explosion happened, and then he died.
The other major acting that we have in this movie is, let's do it. Let's talk about Tony Todd.
Let's do it. It was his swan song, because
Yes.
unfortunately Tony has left us since this movie was filmed.
Yep.
And they knew. They knew. Like that's the only thing. I did a little bit of research into it, and it kind of just it didn't like bum me out, but also kind of bummed me out, so I kind of didn't go too deep into it.
Yeah.
But it seems like he knew he was passing, and they told him about the movie. He wanted to do the movie. He wanted to be in there, and they gave him complete control over his scene and what he said in the dialogue.
Yeah, so it seems like light spoilers, they give his character a little bit of a background in this one, which is more than they've ever done in the other ones. Usually he just shows up for a little cameo and then bounces out. He's the only character to appear in all of the Final Destination films. And yeah, so they give him a little bit of background, and then he has like a monologue that he gives that the directors basically told him to just speak to the fans. That was their direction for that. Speak to the fans, tell them what they should hear. And what he says in his scene, it like literally almost made me cry.
Oh, same. Same. And Holly like called me out on it. She's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "There's so much to unpack there. Just ask me after the movie. Like, I'll go over it with you." Because she could see it. Like, I was like legit like tearing up. Like, because it's a guy we've like you and I grew up as horror fans. We've watched this guy's movies since we were kids. Like he's been around. Like you watch like a thing on like a Shudder, like scariest movie moments, and he's in there doing interviews, like being involved in the genre, and like just to have him be able to give that goodbye to the fans really was it got me. It got me quite a bit actually.
Yeah, and the directors didn't know that they knew this would be his last Final Destination film because of his sickness, but they didn't know it was going to be his last film.
Right.
And so yeah, he passed away shortly after the filming of this, and yeah, you're right. He's been in so many different things that we're just well aware of, and he's got 259 acting credits on IMDb. You know, so that's nothing to shake a stick at. He's done a ton. He's, like I said, the linchpin of this franchise. It's going to be really hard to make another one of these and not have his character there. You know,
right? Because it's like the third one, he only shows up as a voiceover. The character itself in the other ones, he has a cameo, as you said, as a mortician. Yeah, that's what they're called, right? Who they go to for advice. Like one of the characters goes to the mortician for advice at some point.
Voiceover in the third one.
Yeah, the third one he only has a voiceover. He voices over like the ride cue, like this is Devil's Reach or whatever for the ride, and then he also like is the voice on the subway at the end. But yeah, there's no scene of him. It's just his voice.
That's stupid.
Yep. Well, didn't say it wasn't.
Yes, but this one he gets probably the most to do. He's awesome in the first two.
Oh, yeah.
It shocks me with how awesome he is in the first two that they wouldn't put him in to the third one as that same character.
And the fourth one, I'm pretty sure he shows up and he has the most dialogue he's ever had. So they knew they messed up. And the fourth one's a crap movie, unfortunately. But yeah, he does like show up at like the scene of a couple of the accidents. He's like, "Oh, look what's going on here." Pretty much his usual like creepy, ominous stuff, which is great.
Yeah. It's so sad that he passed away too, and you can see that he's not feeling too hot in this one. They said that it was pretty tough for him to get through these scenes that day. So
it's rough. Yeah, I saw a photo of from the set I was going to send to you. Yeah, it was.
Oh, like the group photo.
Yeah, you saw it. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I like that. But yeah, like legit, like I didn't expect it. Like I knew he was gonna be in there. I'm like, oh, that's cool to give him a little send off. But like what he said, just immediately felt like he was talking to me and the fans that he's had made. So yeah, it got me. It surprised me when it got me. I had to explain that. I had to explain to Holly why it got me, and then she's like, oh, okay, I get it. And then I made her watch the first 3 movies. That helped too. I didn't make her. We went to the cabin. It rained the entire time. We went down to the local Dollar General, and they had all 5 Final Destination movies on a DVD for like $8. So I'm like, perfect. Here we go.
Nice.
This is what we're doing this weekend.
That's like the perfect thing to just keep in the cabin too.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. It didn't come home with us. It's there.
Yeah, that's awesome. So for anybody that doesn't know, I did jot down a bunch of the different things that he has been in, just to kind of give a little bit of a review here. So like we said, all the Final Destination movies. He was also Candyman. So in the Candyman movies, those were huge. That was like his big thing for many
That was
years.
his big thing, yeah.
Yeah, and then the Night of the Living Dead remake, he was in there.
He was Ben.
Yep, he's very good. He was also in The Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot about him in The Rock. He's great in The Rock.
He's the one that Nicolas Cage is like, you ever hear Rocket Man?
It's you.
That was him.
You're the Rocket Man. It was him, yeah.
Yeah.
He said something like, I don't listen to Wussy Rock or something like that.
Yeah. He was also in The Crow, the Scream TV series. I didn't see it, but he's in it.
I didn't see that. He's in that? Okay.
Riverdale. He was in the Hatchet 1 and 2 movies.
Oh, yeah. He has
I've never
such.
seen those either.
So basically, the role he has here, imagine like the same kind of idea, but he's like a voodoo priest that just kind of like they stop by and like have like 10 minutes of dialogue with him, and then he's done with the movie. So, good work if you can find it, but yeah.
Right. And he was in Masters of Horror. He was in 3 different Star Trek shows. He was in The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. All different characters, so they must have liked working with him.
I don't really watch the Star Wars stuff, so Star Trek. Sorry. Woohoo! Get someone mad at me.
Serious business. He was in Wishmaster. I have seen that.
Yeah.
I don't remember him being in it, but
he was a bodyguard.
Oh, nice.
And the Wishmaster's like, don't you wish you could escape from this? He's like, every day. So then he puts him like a straitjacket, puts him in like the Houdini trap in the water. Spoilers for Wishmaster if you haven't seen that movie. It came out in 1997. And it isn't that great.
Yeah, I remember not really digging it. They made like 4 after that, and I was like,
I know.
I think that was like straight to Showtime too or something.
Yeah, that's got to be like the wrong turn of that era.
Yeah.
Let's just keep throwing these out. Someone's going to watch it.
Right. He was also in The X-Files. You remember that? I think it was the first season.
No, it's not coming to mind.
He plays like, if I remember correctly, a vet. I want to say Vietnam vet, but it might not be Vietnam because it was the 90s. So maybe it was like a Desert Storm vet or something. But he had like a green cutoff shirt or something like that on. And I think there was something with like he was coming back and killing all the guys in his unit, like through like telepathic something.
That does sound familiar.
Yeah, it was in, I'm telling you, like the first or second season. I think it was the first season, like later in the season.
Right.
But yeah, he was really good in that. That was the only episode he was in.
That's a funny connection because wasn't the first Final Destination movie originally conceived as a X-Files episode?
Yeah, it was.
All comes back together.
Yeah. And then he was in the movie Lean on Me, which is like it's a good one.
Yeah, it is.
I believe Morgan Freeman.
I think so.
Younger Morgan Freeman. But on top of that, so that's, like I said, 259 acting credits. That's a small taste. Those are just the things that, like, I thought stood out. He's done a ton of voice work on top of that.
Yeah.
He was Darkseid and a few other characters in a bunch of DC animated features. He was Blade for an animated Marvel project. He was Fallen in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen.
Oh, nice.
He did a Star Trek video game. He did Half-Life 2. He did two Star Trek video games. And he was Zoom on The Flash. So another connection to The Flash.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, his when he shows up as Darkseid in those movies, you're like, because that voice just gives some gravitas to that character. Like, not many people can do, but yeah, it fit very well. He voiced a great Darkseid.
Yeah. So it's definitely a big loss for everybody that he's not around anymore. It's really sad news when we heard it a few months ago, and it kind of just opened up that wound seeing him here. And then,
Right.
After the credits roll, I don't know how long you stayed, but they have a in memory of Tony Todd between the animated credits and the regular credits.
Right. Yep, I did stay for that. The whole movie theater actually was still kind of hanging out.
Nice.
Which is weird. Sometimes
I wasn't sure if there was going to be like a thing, but nowadays when it's got that animated credits, you're like, I got to stick around and watch this.
Exactly. Yeah. You're right. I think we've all been trained by Marvel just to hang out. Maybe there'll be something.
Right.
They usually movie ends, everyone gets up and getting out of there. I actually stood up and I looked back and like everyone was still in their seats. I'm like, well, I guess I'll chill out too.
Yeah.
I'm not starting this revolution.
But yeah, so what did you overall? What did you think of the movie?
I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. I think it, as I said, it's probably the third favorite of mine in this franchise now. It's vying with 2 for second place. It's probably second. It's probably my second favorite. I don't know. It's close.
It can be your second favorite.
Yeah. I think I'll go with that. And I still like the first one the best. And then this one or 2, they're in competition right there. But yeah, it was a good time. It's exactly what I was looking for. The whole unique thing they do in this one with having it be a family that's going through this instead of just a random group of friends or random people who got stuck in the same accident or disaster situation. Because there's the connection there. There's a familial connection those characters have with each other. And it helps make for characters you kind of care about a little bit more. Which, as we've said, the weak point of these movies in this whole franchise has been characters you don't give a crap about or overly actually dislike. So you don't really have that with this. Like with this whole thing, you're like, yeah, they're a family. They're a bit dysfunctional. They all love each other. And you don't want to see anything bad happen to them. And then when the bad stuff happens, you go, But that makes for a more enjoyable viewing experience, I think, as opposed to just some random Chad D-bag that you want to get smushed the entire time.
Right. I think the other movies, at some point, they start just being caricatures instead of characters.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good thing to say, yeah. I just want to say, like, in 4, there's this character named Hunt or Huck or something. It's like H-U something. And he is the most insufferable movie character of all time. And the entire time, I'm just like, can we just get this guy off the screen? I don't want to watch him anymore. And even like when he finally does bite it, he bites it in a pretty hilarious way. You're still like, didn't have to sit through him being in like half this movie before he finally gets out of here. So there's nothing like that in this. It's the characters are all humans. You know, they're not
mostly likable.
Yes, exactly what I was trying to get at. Roundabout way, you got my point.
Yeah. What was your favorite kill? Probably.
Oh, my favorite kill?
Yeah.
Ooh, why don't you say yours? Give me a second to think. I'll tell you what my least favorite was.
Which was it the dude getting sucked into the thing?
No, it was the one that came right after that with the spring.
Oh, what didn't you like about that?
Just the way it spun after it hit him. I'm like, why would it do that? Doesn't make any sense.
Just dragging it out a little long.
Yeah, and you're like again, it's a character you don't openly dislike, and you're like, I don't need to see that.
Yeah. I think my favorite one is probably the cookout.
Yes. The one that was in the trailers that was really heavily implied.
Yeah, and that's why it's not a spoiler to talk about it either, because it's not necessarily even the kill in it, but it's the lead up to it. It's so elaborate, everything that gets to that point, that it's just so enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
And you're seeing all these things, and this is when the glass breaks. That's something that happens.
That happens.
Like people are very careless when they drop glasses and whatnot. So it doesn't surprise me, especially with this kid who's college age, basically, right?
Yeah. He's not focused on what he's doing.
Right. And so everything that happens there, these are all things I could see realistically being overlooked.
How many times have you had a rake fall down because you didn't put it in the right spot or something like that,
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, you're right. That one does have a very good build-up. Yeah, that's a very good one. I would say, so going from that, the next kill that happens, that's probably my favorite. We'll be vague about it, but after death comes back around and we have the kill you just mentioned. The next character who dies, the way it's set up is kind of a little bit ingenious to me, and then like they just execute it, and it's like, oh, like you see it coming, but you think it's going one way.
In like the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like they're like they kind of like jokingly set it up, and then what they joke about actually happens, and then yeah. So I would say that's probably my favorite.
Yeah, that was a good one. But yeah, so I really liked this movie. My thoughts on it are that it is really, really fun. But yeah, I think there are a few wasted opportunities when it comes to what they set up in the opening scene, and I think that's the problem is that opening scene that introduces you to the movie. So they're doing character building for a character they don't need to do character building for, essentially. And that's where the character building in all the other movies occurs, right?
You're right.
You're right. Those opening scenes where you're getting to know the person you're going to be rooting for. And for them to not stick with that character afterwards, I was wondering going into this how they were going to handle that, because I was like, it's weird. Like it looks like it takes place in modern times, but that doesn't look like it does. And so I was wondering how they handled that. And I was like, I hope they handle it good, but they didn't. So
yeah.
You almost think that's my only dig at it, is that I think they wasted an opportunity there.
I have a dig at it, but it's kind of a little bit more spoilery, so we can talk about it later. You kind of wish that they would have done it where like that opening kill that you meant, well, not opening kill, but that kill you mentioned at the barbecue. Yep. What if you open the movie with that and then you call back to the initial disaster?
Oh yeah,
maybe that would have worked.
Maybe
a little better than kind of just the stark like, here's the opening, here's the movie.
Yeah, I think it really would have set this apart if it all took place in the past.
Yeah, I think that's a missed opportunity.
That would have been more expensive. But now they know how much money they could have made, because I think it would have been really cool to see her really fighting for her husband and all these other people to live and trying to save people. And it can jump forward like 10 years or whatever and be like, okay, now these people, and you can see who she meets over time. And, maybe it jumps then to the 90s and so on until she realizes it reaches her. And then that's when she decides to go be a hermit in the mountains or whatever.
That's what I was going to say. Is like in the movie, they mentioned that she gets kind of crazy with her kids and like doesn't like let them go outside. Let us see that, let us see that.
Yeah. That sounds like some stuff you could really dig into writing-wise.
Yeah, you could really get into that. But, I mean, it's a Final Destination movie. It's not Citizen Kane, but you kind of wish you can see what they could have done.
Yeah,
maybe.
Like, well, this is fine, but that would have been cool too.
Yeah, pretty much exactly that.
Yeah, but yeah, I still really liked it, and I think people should check it out, and everybody
worth a watch.
Check it out. So yeah, that's about all I've got to say about it. You want to jump into spoilers quick?
Yeah, and just real quick, I just want to say, good movie, enjoyed it, worth your time. I am very much happy it wasn't the train wreck it looked like it was going to be for a little bit there. Because I was really like, that's 2 movies in a row where I thought it was going to, 2 movies in a row where I thought it was going to be absolute garbage, and they actually turned out to be fun.
Yeah.
So
hey, maybe we'll improve our odds on I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, if that turns out to be okay, then we don't know trailers. Or at least I don't.
I don't think it will, but
but maybe.
But yeah, what was the thing? What was your dig at the movie?
Yeah, my dig at the movie would be that the grandmother there, Iris, she supposedly put herself in this safe haven that she's gonna escape death from, and literally they pulled up to the place. And I'm like, that looks like the most unsafe place I've ever seen in my goddamn life.
Right.
Like it's got like metal pieces everywhere, light towers that don't look like they've been taken care of, rusted stuff here. Like
you see, there's like clutter hanging and like these like things that it's like
World War II barricades out in front of her house. I was like, this doesn't look safe to me. This looks like the most dangerous house that was ever built. We're supposed to think this is the safe haven.
Yeah.
So that part just kind of blew my mind. And the end of the movie too, like they're going back. We have to get to the house. The house is the only safe place. I'm like, that house is gonna murder you.
Yeah. You ain't getting in that house.
No.
Yeah, and all of that was for nothing too.
Yeah, it was all for nothing because they didn't get in the house.
No.
Spoilers.
Well, they did get in the house, but then the house explodes the moment they walk in.
Did they actually get in it? I think they just got to the doorway.
Well, I mean, debatable.
It
doesn't matter.
It's not the end of the movie anyway.
The mother
folks.
kind of gets in.
She kind of gets in, yes.
But yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's That's a legitimate dig.
It's weird,
I too
right?
thought that, like, when she pulled up there, I was like, well, this doesn't make any sense. Like,
No,
what do you think? Giant trolls are attacking or something? Like, what?
exact. Like, are you keeping like the British at bay? Like, what is this?
yeah. Yeah, I thought that too. And I think they made her character out to be just a little too crazy. Like she legitimately looks like a crazy homeless person.
Right.
And like as you're seeing all these things too, like so many things in this house seem dangerous. Where it's like, hey, maybe take a minimalist approach. Like that chair alone looks like it could kill you.
Yeah.
The office chair that she rolled over for.
Right. And like you have like plants hanging up by like tweed, like flammable string. Like I don't think that's what someone who's worried about like death choking them with like a hanging basket would have in their house.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but it looked like it did not look like if I had to pick like design my own house for like a Final Destination situation like Survivor, nothing from that house I figured would be in my idea.
Right. I did like the way they handled it though with like I was wondering like how if you were saved during the 60s did they do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that mechanism of it of like well, it killed everybody else that survived it but the mother.
Yeah.
And she or grandmother and she's been surviving for 40 years basically. And there was probably a period of time where she was trying to save all these people, so
Yeah.
that bought her some time.
It has to be. And like it was kind of cool too. Like they showed like the whole map of because that's another thing too. Like in this one, uh, in all the other movies, the disaster happens and some people survive. In this one, the disaster's averted. Everyone survives. And then death
Mm-hmm.
takes years to work back through the list of people who should have died until he finally gets to Iris and the Bulworth character. And to get there, like at a certain point, they point out that like this is when people started having families, and there's more lines there to get through for death, and that was kind of a cool idea how they did that. But
Yeah. So are they saying is part of that? Are they like I was looking for it, but are they saying that like the people that were on that
Flight
flight in the
180.
first movie are they part of this?
I don't know. I couldn't see anything. I know that the sketchbook showed a plane, and it looked like similar kind of like I think there was like an explosion drawn on it. And it reminded me of the first movie. I don't know if it was like what happened in the first movie. I don't have a photographic memory. I couldn't be like click and then like look at it again. But I think they flashed it quickly, and I'm like, oh, that's Flight 180. And then I don't know if it's ever mentioned again.
Yeah, because it is cool how they tie the other movies together. Because
Right.
like everybody that's in the second one, they were people that were saved
By
by the
the
people
events of the first
living
movie.
in the
Yeah.
first one. So that's a really cool mechanism where it's like cleaning up
Mhm.
the mess made in the first movie too. That was really clever.
And then 3 and 4 just kind of have the generic situation happen, and then they know of Flight 180. And then 5 is actually a sneaky prequel to the first one.
Yeah, I
That was
recall that.
that was a fun little tie in there. 5's not bad. I'm gonna say again, 5 is not a bad movie.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, like I looked on the Rotten Tomatoes, and 5 was the only one that had a non-rotten rating until this new one, which is blown it out of the water, obviously.
Nice. Cool. All right, you got anything for this movie?
I think that's about it, dude. Yeah, the Tony Todd thing was awesome. I felt like it got me, as I said. I had a good time with it. Holly had a good time with it. It's well worth the watch, and I say, yeah, if you're interested and you haven't pulled the trigger yet, go give it a watch.
Yeah, same. Check it out. Okay, a little bit of news here. So first thing I got, Warner Brothers Discovery is changing the name of its streaming app back to HBO Max. Did you hear about that?
Again? Just stop. Just stop.
A long line of them just making wild decisions.
That whole company needs to like go on a vacation and just reset. Take like 3 months off, guys, and come back and figure it out because you're all a mess.
Yeah.
HBO Go, HBO Express, HBO Max. Now back to
I
HBO.
will say that I think this is the right move, though. But they never should have gotten rid of it, right?
No, they never should have gotten rid of HBO Max. It's like just
That's
being
the
Max. Yeah,
Just being Max is stupid.
stupid.
That's what it is.
Unless you're my nephew.
Yeah, right.
His name's Max.
Yeah. So that's. I wanted to bring that up because it's been all over social media for the last week. It's crazy.
I feel like they just changed it, and like every time I like load my PlayStation up, the logo's different. or the color's different. It's just like, just this is not why you're not doing business. It's not the name of your streaming service.
Right. Yeah. The next thing I got is a new trailer for Predator Killer of Killers release. Did you catch that?
I was watching it when we started the chat. I didn't get to finish it.
Oh, all right. Well, it's pretty damn good. And one of the things that they have in it is at the end of it, the character is like, so what if we survive? And I wonder if they're going to touch on that in this. You always wonder what happened to the characters that survive movies.
Mm-hmm.
And if they touch on that, where they like take them to a different planet or do this and that, like that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. Because the first two Predators took place on Earth, so whoever survived those movies was just, this is where they are from. What was it, the Adrian Brody one? He was on a planet, and they just leave it at that, right?
Everybody and brought him to a game reserve on a different planet.
Right, and then at the end of the movie, they just kind of left it there. They're like, we got to find him.
At the end of the movie, a new batch of monsters shows up. I really like Predators.
It's good. I just wish they didn't have Adrian Brody as the badass, but that's life.
Oscar winner, Adrian Brody.
It's true. That is true. Can't take that away from the man.
I would appreciate a sequel to that, and whether it's Adrian Brody or not, who knows? But I really liked the idea with that, and I don't know. We'll see what happens.
It's a fun movie. I showed Holly the Predator Badlands trailer. No, it was before Final Destination. My bad. And she's like, "That looks cool. I've never seen any of those." I'm like, "Oh God, we got to watch all of those before we can go see this."
You do, except the Predator.
Yeah, God, I can't forget about that movie. That movie was bad. What was Shane Black thinking?
I don't know, man. Okay, so last thing we have is a quick physical media showcase. For this week, we wanted to talk about the fact that Criterion Collection has a 30% off sale going right now, and it goes to May 26th. So we figured we'd go over a couple of our recommendations for both of these, and so Dan, do you have yours right there?
I do, yes. So the movie I wanted to suggest for this was In the Heat of the Night, which can currently be bought from the sale, as you said, for $34.96. Came out in 1976. It is a very powerful movie. It's racial relations in the South. It's got a 95% from critics and 92% from fans on Rotten Tomatoes, 7.9 from IMDb. Won 5 Oscars, including Best Picture. Rod Steiger won an Oscar for Best Male Performance, and Sidney Poitier is in there. And he, for me, like the fact that he didn't get an Oscar is kind of it's one of those all-timer kind of like, why didn't he type things. But yeah, the two of them are just go off of each other. Sidney Poitier is like a cop from somewhere up north, like I forget where, and he's just traveling through Mississippi, and then he gets caught up in this murder investigation and like the racial undertones of this small Mississippi town where no one wants him in there, but he's trying to like help solve this murder. And like the cop, the lead cop played by Rod Steiger, who won the Oscars, I said, is just not very welcoming to him, we'll go with. And it's a movie that I think is really good, and I think everyone should watch it at some point. And it's on sale for this sale, and I think it's worth grabbing.
Did they make a TV series off that?
They did make a TV series off that. I remember it always came on because I was a kid, and I think it came on like after like Saturday morning cartoons, and I hated it for that reason. But I'm sure it's good. But like when I saw In the Heat of the Night come on, I'm like, no, my shows are over.
Yeah, I'm just looking this up quick, and it doesn't look like any of those people you just mentioned are actors in this.
No, they're not.
So they were like, oh, let's keep the characters around, but not the actors. I don't
Strictly use the name. I think they did it with the Untouchables too, like in the early '90s. They're like, Untouchables was a popular movie. Let's put a TV show out that no one cares about. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, I think I remember it being bad.
It had to have been. Yeah, that's funny. All right, is that the only thing you had for that?
Yeah, just got that one.
Okay. So my recommendations, I prepared 3. And
nice.
I wrote them down. So I have Fear and Loathing. Yep. So Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is a really, really great movie about basically Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro doing a bunch of drugs in Las Vegas. And that's like sort of the basis for it. That's sort of the catalyst for everything that happens. But the way they present all of it, it dives into a bunch of different areas. It dives into some politics, and it's really just a wonky movie. It's done extremely well, and it's based on a novel that I've read, that one, and I've read Rum Diary, which also got a movie, but it's not very good. Both by Hunter S. Thompson. And yeah, so it's definitely worth checking out.
It's one I haven't seen in a long time. I need to watch it again. One I watched too young, I think. And I just kind of, my brain's like, I don't like that. But I probably would now. I should give it another watch.
Watched it again?
I haven't. I should.
I'll tell you, the packaging for it is really, really great too. So that, I think, is worth it just for that. I actually have the DVD of it.
Nice.
So I've been like...
If I have a DVD, yeah.
And the packaging is really nice on the DVD too. I think they just duplicated that packaging because it's so good. It's got like a see-through slip cover, and it's got like the Gonzo style artwork, and it's really cool. So that's one that I wanted to throw on here. I also put on here The Others.
The Nicole Kidman one?
Yeah.
It was on there? I didn't see it.
Yeah, that's on there. So on there for sale, and it's a very, very good period horror movie. It's absolutely worth checking out. Great gothic horror. Great performances by Nicole Kidman, and a really, really interesting ending to it. So, yeah, that one's worth checking out.
That's another one. I watched that when I was a kid, but that one I did go back to, and that one is one that, as a kid, I was like, meh, and as an adult, I'm like, I respect the crap out of that movie.
I am your daughter.
You mad? You can't say that. I go to the scary movie, whatever the hell it was, parody of it.
Scary movie, that's 2, right?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely was. Yeah, it was 2.
Yeah, Scary Movie 2 is so funny. I want to watch that movie again.
It's the only one I ever saw in the theaters was 2.
I saw both, I believe. I think I saw the first one at the drive-in.
There's like 5.
There are. Those are other ones where I don't like any after the second one either. And then my third choice is Mulholland Drive.
Yep,
We've talked about this one before. Mm-hmm. Yeah. David Lynch, Naomi Watts, a bunch of other actors pop up in it. It's very, very cool. I don't know if it's the most accessible David Lynch film. There might be other ones you might want to check out before you just dive into this one. But if you're into really like trippy, psychological, puzzle box style movies where you're really trying to figure things out, that's a good one to check out.
Did you ever see Lost Highway by him?
No, I didn't.
It's the same kind of vein. Very, very nice. Kind of weird and out there. I liked it.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I still have Blue Velvet to check out too. Maybe I'll watch that tonight. Do you think Sarah would like that one? You've seen that, right?
Yeah, I think she would. I don't see a reason why she wouldn't.
Yeah, I've been thinking I want to finally watch either that or Seven Samurai. I don't know. You know, now that I mentioned that, I think it might be a Seven Samurai night.
Might be a Seven Samurai kind of night.
Yeah. And then, so the last thing I put on here was that Citizen Kane is on this list. I've never seen Citizen Kane, and I think I might blind buy it. 30% off. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. Citizen Kane's very good. I make that deal. You make that deal? Yeah, Citizen Kane's a movie you got to watch at least once. I've watched it a few times. I have it on DVD. I think it's part of like a weird like 3-pack of some random movies from like that period of time. But yeah, I've watched it a few times. It's very good.
That's what everybody says. It's up there for a lot of people as the best movie ever made.
Don't know about that, but it's very good.
That has like kind of like deterred me from watching it.
Yeah,
like, don't you? The hype of that, like for my entire life.
I'm the worst with that. Like someone's like, "You gotta watch this. You gotta watch this." Like I will decide what I gotta do. I will purposely
be a good blind spots episode.
Yeah, we should. Like something that
the classics.
Something that is classic that we just somehow avoided.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's a good place to wrap up the episode.
All right.
So next week I'm doing psychological horror with the Cinematic Nightmares podcast. Dan gets a week off.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
So join me for that. And then Dan will be back the week following that. So thank you very much. Please subscribe here. You can find me on social media at Bark Night Podcast. And Dan, thank you for joining. And viewers, thank you for watching and listening.